warm welcome to Arunanandaya, the signature morning show of VAPA TV. As you all know, VAPA TV offers a congenial platform for encouraging research, creativity and innovation. Today we are excited to introduce two distinguished guests who are both from the Postgraduate Institute of English attached to the Open University of Sri Lanka. We warmly welcome Dr. Romola Rassool, Director of the Postgraduate Institute of English and Senior Lecturer Mihiri Jansz of the same institution. So, the main topic of our program today is ICLL. So, what is ICLL? Before we get into that, I would like our two guests to introduce themselves.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sumudu, for giving us this opportunity. I would like to thank VAPA TV because you have given us this platform. So, my name is Romola Rassool, and like Dr. Sumudu said, I am the director of the PGIE. My permanent position is at the University of Kelaniya, where I, like Dr. Sumudu Embogama, belong to the Department of English Language Teaching there.
I'm Mihiri Jansz, and I've been at the PGIE for about 11 years. I started off as a probation lecturer and now I've made it to senior lecturer. I've had a long association with the PGIE because I got my master's also from there. I can't really say more at this point.
Okay. So, for those of us who are in the field of English education, the Postgraduate Institute of English or the PGIE is not an unfamiliar name, but for those of us who are not, I think it will be good for us to share a few details about the PGIE.
So, if I just talk to you about the PGIE in its current state, maybe Mihiri can add a little bit about how it all began. At present, the PGIE is the premier place for a master's in teaching English as a second language or in teaching literature in a second language context. These are the two major MA programs that we run. In addition, we have two postgraduate diploma programs, the postgraduate diploma in professional practice in English and also the postgraduate diploma program in bilingual education. In addition to that, we have a course of shall I start in addition to that? In addition to that, we also have a range of short courses that we offer, and those we tailor make depending on the need of the institution that comes to us. Other than that, the PGIE does a lot of national level work. We contribute to policy and practice in terms of English language teaching and in terms of bilingual education in this country. So, we work with a lot of state and public and private stakeholders as well as the NGO sector. We work closely with the Ministry of Education, with the National Institute of Education, etc. And we have over 500 students who are currently registered with the PGIE doing a range of coursework and research courses with us. Mihiri?
So, the PGIE started nearly 20 years ago. We had a very slow start and it was, I think, an uphill battle for the then founder director, Professor Raihana Rahim. We just started with a little room, borrowed space in one of the faculties, and we've now grown to have our own space, and we look to grow even further in the future. But it's kind of amazing to see how far the PGIE has come in a very short time, though 20 years sounds like a lot. In the bigger scheme of things, sometimes it's not that long, because I think our real growth maybe happened in the last 5 to 10 years maybe. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So, I think that our audience is keenly waiting to find out what ICLL is all about. So, how did it all start, and actually what is ICLL?
So, ICLL basically stands for the International Conference on Languages, Literatures and Linguistics. We tried to come up with a title that would encompass all the areas that the PGIE works in and contributes to. It's a little long and it's mouthful, but it's languages, literatures and linguistics. And it actually rose out of a long felt need. We were aware that a postgraduate institute really needs to engage with the research in the field also, but the timing and the environment was not right for all these years. But we thought this year we must take that brave step, especially because next year the PGI celebrates 20 years of service to the system and to English studies in this country. That is why we somehow made it a point to have this conference this year, and we are very excited that we have a fantastic keynote address by Professor Gail Prasad, who is a professor at York University in Canada. She is talking about the role of English in a plurilingual world, and we also have about 40 paper presentations. So the papers are presented by our own students as well as other researchers from all over the country, and we are also very pleased to be able to announce that we are looking to publish maybe around the 10 best papers in the conference proceedings that will be published about 3 months after the event. So a lot happening.
Okay, that's great. So Mihiri, anything you need to add to that?
I was thinking that it might be very interesting for your viewers to know a little bit more about this word plurilingual,
Yes.
because that's a bit of a mouthful.
Yes, I think that it comes in the theme as well.
Yes.
I think I would like you to actually talk about the theme and what inspired this particular theme, which is the role of English in a plurilingual world.
Yeah, what we've realized, like our scholarship in English studies and in language studies over the last few years, we've moved on in how we look at language. Language itself has always been used in multiple ways in different aspects, and we might think the word multilingualism is much more familiar. So why have we thought about this word plurilingual? Because we realized that languages are not so separate and distinct. We are all we use many languages and we draw from that, and the world is not one language, it's many languages, in a way that we are not even language itself is just a construct, or it's just an idea, but it's very fluid, it's almost like a continuum. And so plurilingual represents all these language, all the resources that we have to communicate, and especially thinking about a country like Sri Lanka that has so many languages. We sometimes only talk about 3, but Dr. Romola is an expert in this. She will tell you that we are not limited to so-called 3 languages, but it's an understanding of language that's different from the sort of the colonial way of looking at language as isolated as one thing. So recognizing this scholarship and recognizing the need to to acknowledge this from a decolonized perspective, that's why we really went with this theme, and it really made a lot of sense because our keynote also that we got is an expert in this area. So if your viewers are interested and they'd like to know more about it, the conference would be a great space to learn more about this idea of plurilingualism, which is different to the idea of multilingualism.
Yes, very interesting. And I think since you mentioned the keynote address, would you like to share some more details about the keynote speaker?
Well, Professor Prasad is an Indian Canadian scholar who has done a lot of work in this area of plurilingualism. Of particular interest is Professor Gail Prasad's work on emerging plurilingualism among young learners. And so you can imagine the linguistic context in Canada, where you have children from many different linguistic and socio-economic cultural backgrounds coming into that country. So she has been for the last few years studying how plurilingualism emerges in different contexts in Canada. So we are very excited and very grateful that she decided to make the long trip, and we are all looking forward to learning more from her.
I see. So what opportunities do you think the conference will offer budding academics and researchers, as well as, I think, seasoned ones?
I think a conference is an opportunity for anybody to learn, whether you're seasoned or budding. And I think it wouldn't be wrong of me to say that still the conference research culture in Sri Lanka is emerging. And we see that that is a, that there is a vacuum there, and we need to fill that, and we need to create this culture of research and research dissemination. And this is why we are having this conference, to really focus on good quality research, to share knowledge, because otherwise it's just limited to bookshelves and the hardbound theses. But this is an opportunity. There is a lot of good research going on in Sri Lanka, but there are very limited opportunities to either publish or present. And especially in this field of what we realize, that there is a real space for language, literature and linguistics research to be showcased in such a conference like this. And so both for the authors who have spent so many years, months, in doing really good research and able to share it with others, and those who come can learn so much. So we especially encouraged our own postgraduate students at the PGI to join this conference, to look at how research is done and what we can learn from that, and then themselves become better researchers, more seasoned, see what research is all about. And it's not just as an event, it's really about the research, it's a platform.
That's great. So you did mention that there were about 40 paper presentations at the conference. Any exciting topics or sessions that are themes that you want to highlight? I would say that probably all the tracks and the presentations would be very interesting and educational.
I think that I was particularly interested. There is one panel where we have different researchers from different universities talking about students' experience of English in this very different context, like from Eastern University, I think from the East, from the South. And I like that panel has this focus on undergraduate students, research on their experiences, particularly of learning English. There are also more linguistic research presentations by very established scholars. I don't think I should name names, but there are some very seasoned and established researchers also, which I know are going to be quite a draw to whoever comes. But there's also ELT focused, where we're looking at technology. There's some papers that look at technology being incorporated into language teaching. And there's one whole session that really looks at literatures, where we look at this idea of literatures and how it fits into this plurilingual world.
Can I just add something there, Dr. Sumudu?
Yes, Dr.
So the other thing I just want to say is that all these 40 or so papers will be presented in 8 sessions, and each session, as always, will have its own chair. 4 session chairs have very kindly agreed to come together in a final panel discussion, and they are for seasoned academics in our field. And what they will do at the end is, and this is largely for our students, they will, coming from their own different perspectives of expertise and experience, draw together the common threads, connect those common threads to the larger theme, look at what that means for the future of our field. So that kind of overall comment is what they will be giving at the end, and I think that will be a very good way to bring it all together and wrap it all up. So that is also something worth looking forward to.
Definitely. So I think now our viewers must be really interested in ICLL by now. So if there is anybody who wants to participate at the conference, how can they join it, and you know, what should they do?
I think the easiest way is through our Facebook page. There is a link to the registration form, but we are closing registration by this Sunday. So we hope that whoever is going to register will register quickly. With the conference itself is on the 12th of December, just next week. So we hope that, yeah, the easiest would be to go through the Facebook page.
Okay. So what are the plans for sustaining the momentum of this conference? Are there any spin-offs, like any other projects or collaborative activities that will follow?
Well, like I said, the one immediate follow-up will be the conference proceedings, and we are very fortunate that the Fulbright Commission of Sri Lanka has very generously come forward to sponsor the publication, and we are very excited because that will be the first publication from the PGIE. So hopefully that will herald a culture of publication, hopefully regular journal publication, because as the only postgraduate institute dedicated to English studies in the country, I think we have a responsibility to give avenues for good research, to create these platforms, and also to make sure that the best of the content is preserved in hard copy or soft copy or some form of book or journal. So that is one. Then we are also very motivated because we had many offers of partnership, some which include the possibility of bringing in a lot more teachers and making this a larger event. Initially we were thinking that we would have this conference every other year, but just judging from the response it got, I think we will have to have it every year. I say it like it's a problem, it is not. We are quite looking forward to that, and we will have a lot more teachers, and hopefully teachers presenting. That is something we would like to see more of, the creative work of teachers in their research.
Yes, I think that's very crucial, bringing in the, you know, apart from the tertiary education system and the higher, you know, we should always include the school system and encourage teachers, especially English teachers, to get involved in such projects and activities. So I think that's really great that you're doing that. So just adding to that, what are the future plans of the PGIE? I think Ms. Mihiri, or you would like
No, I
to?
think Dr. Romola is the director, is the best person
Yeah,
to
okay.
answer
I think
that.
you both can maybe share some new activities.
So, yeah, one is that if we look at the academic side, like I said earlier, we have two very good postgraduate diploma programs. The one in particular, the one in bilingual education, I think is now ready to be upgraded to a master's level, and there is a need for it because in this country bilingual education is expanding exponentially, and we need good trained teachers and teacher educators, and I think that is a niche that the PGI can fill. Then in terms of other courses also, there are people, institutions constantly coming to us and saying, look, we would like for you to design an English course. And because we are very well networked, we are a small team, but we have access to a large network of English language and literature practitioners in this country, like you, Sumudu, you know, all of you are part of our larger team. So we can do that. Then also we are looking forward to our flagship program, the Masters in TESOL. We are planning to make it international next year. Initially, we will be reaching out to teachers from the Maldives Islands, and later on maybe in the region, but definitely next year our master's program in TESOL will go international.
Wow, so that's great news. So I think that we've covered quite a lot today. So is there anything that we missed? But I know there's so much happening behind the scenes as well. Do you think that you need to thank anyone? No, I mean, it's not like, but do you need to, you know, maybe talk about the challenges as well as the, you know, what the plus points of this whole endeavor, you know?
I think I was talking to Dr. Romola in the morning, and I said, you know, we wanted to do a conference for a long time. And I'm actually very grateful to Dr. Romola because she's the one who said, let's do it. And I think what we realized is that however hard it is, if you really want to do something, you can do it. And I think, yes, we can look at our challenges and think, oh, how can we do it? We don't have enough staff, we have this issue and that issue. But if you really want to do something, you can do it. And maybe that would be my message to anyone who is listening, not just about the conference,
Definitely.
but about life. Don't let these challenges stop you. If you want to do it, go for it. And as an institution, I think we can see there's so much of potential. There's a lot of work that we can do, and I think what we have is passion and commitment and a really good team, very hard-working team. This is for Sri Lanka as well.
Yeah.
With passion and hard work and commitment, we can get there.
I've seen the passion, and I can see it in your eyes as well, and I know how the hard work that has gone into this, and so I really appreciate that. I think that you know, as members who are involved in, you know, trying to make a change in the field of teaching English as a second language in Sri Lanka, this is a great initiative, and I hope that you both can, you know, not just the two of you, PGIE, and also I think the other universities and higher educational institutions should also do similar activities to promote these kind of things. So Dr. Romola, how does the PGIE support teacher education?
The PGI considers teacher education a huge part of its mandate, and if I go course by course or program by program, the Masters in TESOL, which is our main program, serves a range of stakeholders in this system. If we look at the tertiary system, young probationary lecturers look to this qualification to make them permanent. If you look at the school system, you have teachers, teacher educators, teacher trainers, textbook writers, all of them wanting the academic qualification that this master's program offers. Then you also have teachers from private schools and international schools. They get this opportunity to do this masters, and because this masters has a couple of exit points, you can either just do the coursework and stop, or if you're really interested in research, it gives you a very good training in research methodology, research writing, and then puts you in contact with a supervisor, and through that association there is usually a very good quality thesis that comes out. And in terms of the bilingual education system, the PGI is currently engaged in supporting very proactively the initiatives of the Ministry of Education, and I'm sure we all know that the ministry is right now on a massive expansion drive because there is a large demand for for bilingual education or English medium instruction in this school, in the school system.
Yeah.
So there is a massive expansion that is taking place in the school system right now, and due to that demand, the ministry is expanding the number of schools, the number of teachers and the number of teacher training programs. As the only postgraduate level institution that is qualified in bilingual education in this country, we, the PGIE, are the principal partners of the Ministry of Education in this endeavour. So, we engage in doing a lot of teacher training. One extended means of doing so is the postgraduate diploma program, which lasts 1 year. We also have 3-month courses in content and language integrated learning, which is an absolutely essential tool for bilingual education. Then we also participate in workshops and training sessions that the ministry organizes. We also work with the NIE, and whenever we are requested, we go and do training programs for them. So, that is one other means. Then in terms of English literature, for the last several years we have had a master's program which focused on teaching literature, and it was very popular among again private schools, government school teachers, but now we have realized that we are better off making it a broader program. So, currently we are revamping that literature masters, and our teachers and anyone interested in literature, English literature in this country can look forward to perhaps registering in the new revamped larger English studies oriented masters that will come next year. So, all these are the initiatives that give meaning to the PGIE and the work that we do there. Sumudu.
I see. So, Mihiri, I'm sure that a lot of the viewers even are interested in joining these programs, and you mentioned several programs. So, how can they register for these programs? I'm sure there are different processes involved, but can you just give us some details about that?
So, we have an annual call for applications that appears in the newspapers, and as I said, through our Facebook page is a good place to look for new news.
So,
and
what's
of
the
course,
name,
the Open University
Postgraduate
website.
Institute of English, right?
Yes.
The name of the Facebook
Yes,
page. If they search for Postgraduate Institute of English, they'll be able to access the Facebook page.
As well, of course, the Open University website as well.
I see.
Our programs, all the information goes
will
through
be
there.
in the Open University website.
Yeah, so usually we do online applications. The process is very clear, but of course there will be entry qualifications because these are state recognized qualifications. You can't just take anyone into the program. There are entry criteria for each of these programs, but the short courses on the other hand are a little more flexible because we want to really talk about knowledge, and not only I think we couldn't talk about some of our other short courses like in qualitative research and also academic writing. We have a host of short courses that have been very popular in the past and have served a need.
So, are there any last thoughts or comments that you'd like to, share with our audience before we conclude the show?
Just a couple of things. One is just to echo what Mihiri said. We have a very committed team, and without them none of this would be possible. To borrow Miss Jansz's phrase, she says, Romo, the PGI is small but mighty. So, we fully believe that, with mighty being the more important adjective. Yes. And also we have to thank many institutions, many people. I won't do that individually because I will, I'm sure, miss a few, but let me just thank you, Sumudu, and VAPA TV. I mean, this is going way beyond what you have to do as part of the organizing committee and as friend. So, I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Mihiri?
Echo the same thanks actually.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And thank you for being here. So, this brings us to the end of our program, and a heartfelt thank you goes out to our two distinguished guests, Dr. Romola Rassool and Senior Lecturer Mihiri Jansz, for being with us today. So it's me signing off for today. This brings us to the end of the program, Arunanandaya on VAPA TV. My heartfelt thanks goes out to Dr. Romola Rassool, Director of the Postgraduate Institute of English, and Senior Lecturer Mihiri Jansz from the same institution. So today we learned a lot about what's happening at ICLL and also what's happening at the PGIE. So I really thank the two of you for your insights as well as for all the information that you shared with us today. So until next time, stay inspired and stay curious.